The Source engine has been the home for so many games that we all still love and play. The very peculiar look of this engine makes every seasoned gamer spot a Source game from miles away. And when trying SiN Episodes Emergence out, I felt right at home navigating through the initial docks level. It's actually funny how the opening levels of SiN 2 are the docks of a seaport, since Half-Life 2 Beta had a dock level at the beginning of the game too. Could it be a reference? I don't know. What I know is that SiN Episodes Emergence shares the same look and engine of Half-Life 2, and it also plays very similarly to it, which is an even better aspect about this sequel to the classic SiN, released in 1998 and completely overshadowed by Half-Life 1. It's funny how, in my opinion, the original SiN is better than Half-Life 1 in terms of characters. I mean, as much as we adore how stoic Gordon Freeman is, John R. Blade one-liners in the original SiN are quite funny, and I just love this type of 90s humor.
You've been a very naughty boy, Blade.
Bad enough to kill you, bitch.
But of course, Half-Life is the better game overall. In SiN 2 instead, John Blade is almost entirely mute, which is a true bummer since SiN 1 was characterized by a constant comical banter between John R. Blade and JC, your typical nerdy hacker sidekick that opens door for you from remote.
Welcome to the dawn of a new age.
Welcome to the new age.
New dawn my ass, you wacky bitch.
I'm really tired of you.
The other characters instead are still quite talkative. You even get a girly companion just like Gordon did with Alex. The name of this girl is Jessica Cannon, a ginger with an attitude.
Have you accepted what you will become?
Hey bitch, why don't you dial back the psychosis a notch?
Who apparently has fallen in love with our protagonist, but she's just too old for John Blade, even though she barely looks 25, which makes me think John Blade has got a DiCaprio complex. She also loves to swear
South corner of fuck and you.
and wears two underwears. I don't know why, but the SiN Wiki said so, and I had to report to you such an important piece of information. But the true female star of SiN Episodes Emergence is the main antagonist, Alexis Sinclair, who wakes us up right at the start of the game, and what can I say? She has not only maintained all her seductive traits from the first game, but the new Source model has been masterfully crafted. For real, at 26 years old, I now have a new crush on a digital character of a forgotten Source game, and will probably fall in love too if you're straight in the slightest, or even bi. No wonder SiN Episodes Emergence got this sky-high rating on Steam. Alexis must have worked her charm upon all of us. I mean, just look at those Havoc-powered milkers. It's like the devs have spent 10% of the total budget on powering those decaps. Anyways, this nice pair of milkers isn't the only good thing this game has to offer. The best aspect about this game is definitely the main menu. Even though the font and color choice used for the text isn't ideal at all and makes the game look like a low-budget project, the music used for this menu is an absolute banger. I still have to figure out why the devs thought this mid-2000 emo-ish tune suited the tone of this game. In fact, everything about the main menu feels out of place, but still, this menu made me laugh and this song remains a banger. Of course, I was joking, the best part about SiN 2 isn't the menu, but rather the gameplay, which is surprisingly good. The shooting is just way too enjoyable and satisfying, and to me, this is what chiefly matters in a FPS game. The source-powered ragdolls when hitting an headshot are still cool to experience even 18 years later, and the 3 guns this first episode offers, a pistol, a shotgun and
I need backup now!
an SMG, all feel quite punchy, way more than Half-Life 2's counterpart. The guns also have a secondary fire mode that shoots more powerful bullets that do look and feel much more powerful, while the SMG secondary fire is the same copy-pasted Half-Life 2 grenade that we all know and love. Pretty useful to kill these heavy armored guys holding miniguns. These guys also kinda resemble the cremators from Half-Life 2 beta, which is cool. Let's talk about the enemies, and yeah, enemy variety goes as far as the weapon variety. Much like we can only shoot 3 different guns in this episode, we can only murder 3 different type of enemies. The standard soldier, which are the most satisfying to kill, zombie-like creatures that are the result of experiments gone wrong, and the heavy armored guys I talked about before. Although only 2 hours short, this game also features a mini-boss fight against a creature that looks like a crossbreed between a yeti and a gorilla. We also get a final boss fight against another yeti gorilla thing and against a helicopter driven by the second antagonist. And yeah, this final boss fight is pretty well set up. The arena is big enough to strafe around and it's littered with much needed ammo and health, and there is enough cover to protect the player from the very deadly rockets and machine gun of the chopper. Also, this chopper constantly changes position, which makes you look for new cover and new angles to shoot it down every time it moves, making the fight pretty dynamic and more enjoyable than a simple peeking in and out of cover. I also gotta praise how it's clearly visible if your bullets are dealing damage to the chopper or not, cause you know, a lot of FPS boss fights have this flaw where you don't really know if you are dealing damage or not, if you should use normal ammo or explosive ammos, so you know, I'm glad that this boss fight is very clear on how it works. Overall, this boss fight is pretty fun, still better than Half-Life 2 final boss fight for damn sure. I guess that the atmosphere was kinda copied from Half-Life 2 since we are standing on top of a very tall building towering over a different city than City 17, although the landscape looks almost the same. On to the final question now. How good is SiN 2 really? The most renowned gaming websites all agreed on giving this first episode a solid 7.5. But the Steam user rating hovers around a even more convincing 4.5 stars out of 5, which is quite an astounding rating for such a short, simple and forgotten source game. You see, I really wanted to play this game and find a janky and mediocre corridor shooter to trash talk about in a new video. However, SiN episode's Emergence surprised me. Its linear gameplay interluded by simple puzzles was very enjoyable and the shooting is just solid. Weapons and enemy variety might be scarce, however there is a very good variety in set and setting. The adventure starts out at the docks, then we move inside a lab,
Cold storage purge takes place every Friday.
then the lab catches fire, then we get to a lofty palace building, which reminds me of the Overwatch Nexus in Half-Life 2, and finally we end up on the balconies of this palace where, in a scene that anticipates Alex getting severely injured by a stalker in Half-Life 2 Episode 2, our trusty sidekick Jessica Cannon gets injected with a serum that transforms people into monsters, and if you've played SiN 1, you already know that the entire story revolves around fighting this serum. And so yeah, we are all very worried about Jessica's condition. However, we will never know if Jessica will ever heal or not, cause SiN episodes got discontinued, unfortunately. 8 more episodes were supposed to be released at a $20 price tag, however they never came out because Ritual Entertainment was bought out by Mambo Jumbo, and so all those great developing skills for PC games went to waste, since Mambo Jumbo operated in the mobile gaming market, and who the hell cares about late 2000s mobile games anyways? I only wanted more episodes of SiN 2, and at this point I will be waiting for them like I've been waiting for episode 3. I guess that when it comes to treating video games like a TV series by releasing them episodically, things are just bound to fail. And again, it's a shame that we couldn't experience a full release of SiN 2, cause this game's only flaw is that it is too short at only 2 hours of playtime. We want more. The episode just flows excellently, and in its simplicity is very enjoyable. The only problem I had is that in the first part of the game, during the docks level, the game stuttered very bad and some textures were kinda obscure, but after beating the game, I looked up that there are some console commands that fix it. Also, this game has got a very cool feature that keeps track of your shooting performance. By opening up the opposite menu, you can look at some cool statistics like number of enemies killed, headshots, percentages, most used weapon and the even number of jumps. This game also features a dynamic difficulty system which, according to the tracked performances, it adjusts the aggressiveness and the number of enemies that come at you. Pretty neat stuff. You can see how Ritual Entertainment was investing in cool features to make FPS games more interesting, and I pity the fact that Mambo freaking Jumbo acquired them. How could a company with such a funny name commit something this disgraceful? So yeah, if you wanna add a somewhat obscure source game to your Steam library, I recommend picking up SiN Episodes Emergency when it goes on sale. I got it for €2 and yeah, it's a little piece of source history that you should try and every Half-Life or FPS fan should try. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe.